Welcome to Live at the Blue Box. We are now going to do the show. What are we doing? Pop culture content? No.
Binge-worthy.
We're actually doing Binge-worthy Junior, in case you hadn't guessed.
Yep.
And this is.
No, she's just guesting on Binge-worthy.
Okay, she's just guesting on Binge-worthy, but.
Because this is not a kids show.
No, this is not a kids show. Okay, we're not doing Binge-worthy. Let's start again. Welcome to Live at the Blue Box. We are now going to do Binge-worthy with special guest Molly Southgate.
Hello.
We're going to talk all sorts of inappropriate things now. All right.
No.
Molly?
Yes.
Oh, wait, let's introduce ourselves. Who's on the end?
Who's on the end?
Yep.
I'm Martha Southgate.
I am Molly Southgate.
And I'm Rob Southgate.
If you can tell the pattern here.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we are the owners of Southgate Media Group.
Yes.
Yep.
Collectively.
Collectively, yes. Martha,
What?
I think yours might be low. I can't tell
Because I
who's-
probably have a Lils.
She's on one?
Who's on first?
There we go. Well, all right. Is that
I
better?
don't know who's on third.
Yeah, Doctor Who. Nice. Hello, Portugal.
All right, do you want to...
Yeah.
I have a lot of notes.
So
she's got notes.
we
She did
are,
research.
Well, before we do that, let's say what it's about. So here's what Binge-worthy is for those of you that don't know. Basically, what we do is we go to Netflix or Hulu or whatever, and we do what everybody does. We binge shows. We watch like a series or a season, or get kind of an overview of shows, which is what we're doing tonight, and we decide if we think it's worth watching that way, and we give kind of our thoughts on it. So this week, we introduced Molly to a show that we thought might be inappropriate.
Oh, it is inappropriate.
But Martha was picking and choosing certain episodes, and Molly gripped onto this thing in a big bad way. So we watched what we could.
I love it.
And what
What
show
is
is it?
Parks and Recreation.
Yes, Parks.
All right, you want to tell us about what did you learn about
What? Tell us what you know about Parks and Recreation. Do you guys watch Parks and Recreation? Has anybody seen it? It's okay.
Pawnee, Indiana.
Yes. Yes. All right.
Well-
Let's hear it, Mal.
Well, it started in April 9th, 2009, and it ended February 24th, 2015.
Nice.
It was created by Greg Daniels and Michael Schur, and
Sure it was.
Ba-bum. Shh.
Chris, you're out. She's funny.
Yep.
Wait a minute. I think I'm out.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mal.
Both of you.
She is funnier than we are. Oh, all right, Molly. What else?
It won 2 Emmys and the Golden Globe.
She can't read that one I wrote. Okay.
Keep going.
What
Okay.
in the world?
It won a Television Critics Award for Outstanding Achievement in Comedy.
And it is starring Amy Poehler
We
as
love.
Leslie
Leslie
Knope.
Knope.
as Leslie Knope, Radisha Jones.
Rashida.
Rashida.
Radisha would be good. Rashida.
She's Anne.
She's Quincy Jones's daughter.
Yes, she is.
She plays Anne, right?
Yeah.
And
My mom in the back of the room. Oh, Quincy Jones. I've heard of him. Who else?
Aziz
Aziz and
Ansari.
I'm sorry.
that's what I thought it was.
Okay.
He plays Tom.
Uh-huh. And who's dad?
Who?
The one who's most like your father.
Oh, and Nick Offerman plays Ron Swanson,
Just like
the
Dad.
crabby boss.
Who likes bacon, meat, right?
Yeah.
Do you know what?
Odenkirk, no.
Not Odenkirk. Offerman.
Yeah, Nick Offerman, yeah.
Yes, I know.
And your favorite, these two you love, right?
Aubrey Plaza plays April, and Chris Pratt is Andy.
Yes. And this was the show that gave
started
us,
his career.
Yeah, it gave us Chris Pratt. And when he was cast as Star-Lord, if you watch the first 6 seasons, he's doughy. There's a one that's really funny. I think in the 5th season where they went to a beach, and it made all sorts of news because here's this guy who's going to be Star-Lord, and in this episode you didn't see this, but he's out on the beach and he looks like a beached whale. I mean, he's giant and like hairless. It's the worst. It's like Will Ferrell, how he always like, hey, I'm going to take my clothes off, and you go, oh, really? No, put them back on. And then he gets cast as Star-Lord, and in Star-Lord, he's, Marvel superhero body. Mm-hmm. So it's pretty crazy. And he's just like this doughy guy for most of the season, or most of the series. And then Aubrey Plaza, and then...
Rob Lowe.
Wait, I'm doing it.
Okay,
Sorry.
she's still going.
There's Adam Scott as... I forgot his
He
name.
plays Leslie's husband.
Yes.
He plays Leslie's
How
husband.
can we forget his name?
I'm drawing a blank.
I've seen the show.
Keep going.
Every
Yes.
episode, but I
Yeah.
can't think of his name.
Rob Lowe plays...
I can't remember. Just say who's in it. I can't remember who's playing who.
Jim O'Hare is...
He's easy. He plays...
Jerry.
Larry.
Gary, and Larry. They keep changing his name. And
His real name is Gary, but they can't get it right.
Yeah. So they call him Terry in the very last season. It just keeps
Spoiler.
changing. Yeah.
Retta is Donna.
Donna, yeah.
And you love her.
She's crazy.
so funny. And she does a thing. She and
She and
Tom,
Aziz.
Ansari or whatever.
Treat yourself.
They do. They do.
We showed her this episode.
They do one every year. They have a treat yourself day, and they treat yourself day. They call it, and
Treat
and
yo.
they go out and they have to say yes to themselves for everything
they have to say
want.
yes to anything that's going to make them happy. They're like, oh, I really don't think I can afford that massage. Treat yourself.
And then they have
and
to
then they're
do
like,
it,
yeah. It's so funny. And
Yeah.
then the guy who kills me,
Billy
Eichner.
Billy Eichner is.
And we
talked
have no
about.
idea what his name is.
I can't think of his name, but we talked about him when we did Difficult People on here.
I don't think we've done difficult people.
Have we
yet,
done
have
Difficult People yet, Chris? Spoiler,
No.
we're going to talk about that. He is so freaking hilarious on this show. So, Molly, here's the basic premise.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
So, basic premise, it's, surprise, a Parks and Recreation Department. Leslie is
In Pawnee, Indiana.
in Pawnee, Indiana. This town
Yeah.
is pretty much of a train wreck. They are the hometown to a sugar, sweet company called Sweetums. Everybody is overweight. Everybody is a little slow.
They keep talking about how all the kids are like meatballs.
Yeah, right. It's really amazing, but they have this great parks department.
well, because of Leslie.
And Leslie is this completely driven. Her heroes are
all the women on the Supreme Court.
the women she has pictures of them everywhere, and she's just so driven.
Senators,
and she's super
and
type A about all this.
Throughout the series, she gets to meet Senator Boxer and
she was-
Michelle Obama was one of the funniest things I have ever seen on TV. Her meeting.
I know I'm talking loud. I love you.
Yeah, she talks. She meets Michelle Obama, and she starts yelling, and she's like, "You're Michelle Obama!" And she's like, "I'm sorry, I'm talking loud. I can't help it." And it gets louder and louder.
It is. She is
so funny.
Amy Poehler is just fantastically
Yeah,
funny.
she is amazing.
And it's just. I've never seen a character like her on TV, and she's the most positive, uplifting person, and she's surrounded by all of these people that you would never put together in a group, but she has built this team, and they're so loyal to her.
Yeah, it's
And
really
it's fantastic.
It's a great ensemble. Now, I want to give a little warning, though, for those of you that are listening to this and are thinking, hey, I might want to try this. The first season, now we watched a few episodes, but the first season definitely is off a little bit.
Okay, Molly, what did they say on?
So you read about it, okay.
I have a monologue, but it's part of the monologue.
Well, I don't know anything.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Do we need a platform for you?
We don't want to. You're not going to read the whole thing.
Yeah.
No. Oh, okay.
It's
7 years ago.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Don't do the voice on me.
Don't do the
Don't do the voice.
I was doing Edward. Edward was reading it. Go ahead. Do it. Read it.
Okay. The writers researched local California politics for the show and consulted with urban planners and elected officials. And Amy Poehler's character of Leslie Knope underwent major changes after the first season in response to audience feedback that she seemed unintelligent and ditzy.
So they fixed her, and so then all the other seasons, she's
amazing after the first season.
And I have a longer monologue.
Okay.
Oh.
The writing staff incorporated current events into their episodes, such as government shutdown in Pawnee, inspired by the real-life global financial crisis.
Yes.
Several guest stars, such as Will Arnett. Nah, that's not part of it.
You don't want to read that part?
She's done
Amy
with that.
Poehler was actually married to Will Arnett at that time.
Right.
When he was
Right.
on.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yes. So the first season, yes, Leslie was a problem. They didn't write her quite right.
But you still should watch it because it's still very good.
It is still really good, but I'm just warning you, it's a little off. When we first watched it, when Martha and I first watched it, people were telling us how good it was. We binged the first season, and we were like, it's funny, and we liked it, but it didn't get us. Then the second season, it was like, from episode 1 of the second season on, it was magic.
It's brilliant.
And
When Chris Pratt goes into the pit and he
the
falls
pit.
into the pit.
he lives in a pit, and like there's a pit outside. That's how the show starts. Is they dig
That's
a
actually
pit.
the first season.
Yeah, they dig a pit out front of Anne's house, and she's dating Andy at that point.
Chris Pratt, yeah.
And
But he's very dumb and he's
Yeah.
very nice at the same time, and she is brilliant.
but they break up,
Yeah.
and she kicks him out of the house, or he leaves the house, and then he just goes and lives in the pit for a while. And the episode
falls
she's
into it.
Yes, he fell into the pit, and then he just stayed there. And then they go to fill it in, and there's like this tarp, and he starts screaming, and they pull up the tarp, and he's like under
They
the
were
tarp.
filling
Yeah.
with dirt.
And so
like
I thought you were living here anymore, and he
bulldozers.
goes, well, I went in, and I got a little tired. I left something in there. I started reading a magazine.
Yep.
Then I fell asleep.
Then he started eating Cheerios
Yeah,
or
it's
something.
amazing. But the first season is, I'm just warning you, it's a little off. When they tweak it, when they hit that second season, and then they start adding the Adam Scott character and the Rob Lowe character, amazing.
Yeah.
And really, when you look at this cast, at the time, when we first saw it, we didn't know who a lot of these people were. But now they are people that we seek out. Aziz Ansari, I'll watch him in anything. The guy is fantastic. And since then, I've found
Treat
out. Now,
yourself.
I'm not big on comedians.
Right.
They're all right. But I've heard that a lot of comedians consider him maybe like one of the top 3 comics working. That's pretty incredible. Like, he is that guy that everyone's like, no,
Yep.
this guy is one of the funniest out there. Retta is amazing.
Yeah.
Nick Offerman, if you haven't seen this guy, he is fantastic. And he's done some things. He guests on some things, but he has a special on Netflix right now, Nick Offerman's American Ham. Oh, my gosh.
Is he the guy with tendinitis in it that gets tendinitis?
Who gets tendinitis?
One of them was freaking out because...
No, he's Nick Offerman's the one with the mustache.
No, that's Rob Lowe.
Oh, Rob Lowe. Yeah,
He
Rob
doesn't-
Lowe.
He's like in perfect physical health, and he gets tendinitis and then thinks he's dying. You know,
Yeah.
but
He
Yeah.
goes up to Anne and he goes, I have bad news.
she's a nurse.
I'm
yeah.
dying. And she's like, and he's like, she goes, what's wrong? And he's like, I've got tendinitis. And I found out I'm turning old, and I'm going to slowly die. She's like,
You're not dying.
you're not, yeah. And he
You're
also
in
tells the
perfect
doctor,
physical condition.
I'm in peak physical condition. I expect to live to 150. The doctor's like, yeah, well, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
I'm dying?
Yeah, he's very
Unbelievable.
funny. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's a
the
good character.
show is so well written. It's one of those shows like Cheers or
It's
Mary
almost like
Tyler
a
Moore or
Seinfeld or
where you
something.
go, well, but I'm saying like
But
the
stronger.
writing
I
is
think this
so
one is a
good.
bit, yeah, even a bit better in terms of
This
how
one's-
they do the ensemble.
Yes.
But Jim O'Hare, he plays Jerry, Larry, Gary, Terry. He's actually married on the show to Christy Brinkley, and he's this overweight old guy, and they
Oh,
cannot
yeah.
figure out how he got
there's
got
a-
her, and he has these beautiful daughters, and
They're like amazing.
it's
And they
just-
have this episode where they're having a party, and it's the first time they're meeting his wife and daughters, and they're all there, and they just fawn all over. At work, he's a joke. Everyone's mean to him. He comes in, and they're like, oh, and like Christy Brinkley is just all over him, and she loves him, and they're all just so sweet. And the whole cast is like,
how did he get her? Yeah.
What?
What is
How
happening?
is Larry married to this? It's unbelievable.
And he screws everything up, so they're kind of mean to him through the entire series. But
and he's like, oh, I'm so sorry. And they're like, you're fired.
Yeah.
But he never is.
He never
they
is.
Keep him around.
Yeah, it's and like I said, Chris Pratt is one of those characters like a Kramer, like Woody on Cheers.
He's more likable.
Right, but I mean, he's one of those characters where you like.
He's just the warmest, sweetest
Yeah,
guy.
he's
and you
so
just
nice.
Go,
But he's one of those characters that makes the show.
Yes.
You wait for Andy to show up and give Leslie a piggyback ride while she's talking to a congressman.
Yes.
Stuff like that. It's amazing. So, Molly, what would you say?
Wait, I wanted to say something. For anyone who's thinking of binging this, just because we have our child here watching it,
not appropriate.
You need to know your kid. And Molly is a little different and doesn't necessarily, she watches things that are a little bit older.
Yes.
But I know the episodes very well, and so I know which ones not to let her watch or where to fast forward or whatever. But
and really
watch the show first before watching it with a child.
And truthfully, there really aren't that many.
It depends on your kid.
But right.
Yeah.
But what I'm going to say is, if you watch it, just know that it's not like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to censor 3/4 of it.
It's not Orange is the New Black or anything.
Molly, you want to watch that one?
No.
How about Scream? You want to watch that?
Yeah,
No.
Okay.
So,
Walking Dead?
No.
Yeah.
So
you need to know your kid, but she happens to have that sense of humor. I mean, she was
eating
belly
this
laughing,
up.
through
and it wasn't
every
like-
episode.
It wasn't like when kids watch stuff with their parents and they laugh because their parents find it funny, but you can tell they're kind of like, oh, ha, 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 ha. I don't really get it. She's getting it. She's laughing before we are at all the right stuff. She's been quoting it for days.
Yeah. Treat yourself.
Oh my gosh!
She gets what's funny about treat yourself.
This is what happens at our house.
Yeah.
Yes.
It is.
And then today, all day, there's a running gag with this miniature horse named Little Sebastian, where like everybody in town loves this horse, and
Chris Pratt wrote a song and sings
the
about
horse dies, and he writes a song, and they're like,
Bye, bye, little Sebastian.
she's been singing it all day. But what's really funny on this
Google
song?
the song and play it.
No, that's okay.
No, we can't.
I don't think
we
we
can't.
can legally do that.
But what they say is, they go, we need a song written. Right. We need a memorial song written for the horse. And they want Andy to write it. They're like, we need a song, because he's a musician on there. And they're like, we need a song written for the horse, but it's got to be, like Candle in the Wind, only even more emotional.
5,000 times better.
He goes, what's more emotional than Candle in the Wind? He goes, 5,000 candles in the wind. And that's what the song is.
Yep.
Amazing.
Yeah, very funny.
Yeah. Okay, let's get to the binge part of it.
Okay.
So the way we do this is, I think you're going to see where this is going. We will say whether we think it's binge-worthy. If it's binge-worthy, do you watch it in one sitting? Do you have to space it out? Like True Detective, you can watch one, and then you got to have like some mental health issues, and then you get to watch the second episode.
Binge-worthy.
There is, don't binge it, or
Not worth
don't
it.
even
worth the watch.
worth the watch,
Or don't bother.
Don't bother. So this is a don't bother for you, Molly?
Binge-worthy.
And how is it binge-worthy? What's your criteria on that? Is it binge it, or is it space it out?
Binge it.
Binge
Okay,
it.
now we're talking to adults.
We're talking
Okay,
to adults.
so you would tell adults, go
Binge
home
through.
and watch every season right now.
Yes.
Okay. What about if they have kids?
Depends on how old the kids are.
What do you think there?
It depends on if they're like me, kind of, more.
So if they're
not
like you,
me.
take you home and binge the entire series.
Yes.
Right? Yes, okay. I had a feeling that's where we were going.
Right now, in other words, you have to take me home and binge the entire series.
And bring pie.
But mostly
Yes.
the episode where Ron gets shot.
Right?
And he's
Oh my
like,
gosh.
You shot me in the head. Yeah.
There
and
is
he's
an
like,
episode where they go
he
hunting.
lives.
Where the
He's
whole
fine.
group
It's
goes
just
hunting.
grazed.
And it is one of the finest episodes of TV you'll ever see.
It really is.
The ending, the lines that Ron has are so funny. This is once again how we knew she was really getting it, because the stuff he's saying is technically not what you would consider like a joke. Like if I said it right now, you'd be like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, there's no
when
laugh
you
track
see it,
in this show.
it is so funny. It's almost painful, and she was crying, laughing. Like everything he said, she's like, "Oh my gosh!"
Very sarcastic.
Oh, it's so funny.
Yeah,
oh my
very
gosh.
good.
So
anyway,
you're
yes.
saying binge it,
Binge.
sit down and do it.
Binge worthy. Sit down and watch the whole thing. If you have kids, know your kids. Don't and pre-screen.
Pre-screen, yeah. Which means you get to binge it twice, which is worth it.
Yeah.
I say binge it too, but just be wary of the first season. It's not that it's tough to get through. Just
No, it's
know
still
that
really good, and that's
it's
where
still really good.
he
But
gets
know that when you
shot
hit
and
the
everything.
second season, holy cow, it gets so much better. And I'm not overselling it because
And the
even-
first season is very good.
And
I think.
I want to
still.
highlight one other thing. And I'm not spoiling anything here. The last season, in the sixth season, the last episode, it ends with a thing where it says, it goes 3 years in the future. I'm not going to tell you what happens, but it says 3 years in the future, and they do this little thing. And when we first saw it, we thought, is this the last episode? And they didn't tell you? No. The next season, which was only like 8 episodes, takes place 3 years in the future. So this show actually became, for the time, like a sci-fi show because it was 3 years in the future from now, or from when the show ended. So they have like technology that's about 3 years ahead of us. Like their phones, like our phone looks like this, theirs might be clear. You know how they say that the next generation might be a clear phone? They have stuff like that. There's like little hologram things, little subtle things.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like flying cars and stuff like that, but it's stuff that you go, yeah, that is probably 3 years from now. Mm-hmm. Molly didn't like Leslie's haircut 3 years in the future, but hey, what can you do? Yeah. So is that it? So it's
binge-worthy.
Binge-worthy across the board for the three of us. Now, has anybody out here watched Parks and Rec? No. All right. You have an assignment. You go watch this thing. It's awesome.
So funny.
Yep.
Huh?
Where are your priorities, Jenny? Quit school?
Jenny, seriously?
Come on, man.
Have we taught you
Seriously?
nothing in our 2
Quit
years
school.
here?
Seriously. All right.
Watch
we're done?
Parks and Rec, and then your life is made.
Your life is made. All right. That's it. Thank you for listening, everybody. Thank you, Blue Box. We will be back next Saturday with more shows. Woo!